I took a year off between high school and college, and I just hitchhiked in Europe for a year, and I just played. I just played till all the time. So, and then the bug had bit, and when I got back to college, I joined a bunch of bands, and that one, the long solo, Getz's long solo on Small World. I mean, it bears a repeated listening. I mean, it is really good, man. I had nothing to do with it. I mean, I say probably except it's on my record. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I think so.
You just talk about some of these cats because I mean, listen. Can you talk about these cats that you?
Yeah, but it's a good point. I mean, I was a blues snob until I joined fraternity bands. So I saw Oz and the Ends, Ozzy Allers, and then we had a band called Slippery Elm, and we worked up the whatever was going on FM radio at that time. A Bloodwind Pig song, a Taj Mahal tune.
Sure.
The sort of top 40 of FM radio, and that's how we played it. And so, then you don't be. And I quickly realized that although I'd previously been a sort of a R&B snob, but I realized that although I preferred listening to certain types of music, all music was fun to play. And so. And that's how I kind of got into a little country stuff and all that. And, it became kind of, it's fun to play.
You must have been with Sonny Terry and Brownie. Like, you must have hung with those cats.
That's right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, those cats were still around.
No, I hung with Cotton. I hung with James Cotton.
Wow, you hung with Cotton.
I learned most of what I learned from Cotton personally and records, and then Cotton a little bit and, and then other cats too. There's a little community of harmonica players. I mean, there's Kim Wilson, there's Mark Hummel, there's Rick Estrin, there's Gary Davis, there's a bunch of good cats. There's Howard Levy, who's off the charts. He's harmonicas they're one of those weird instruments where everybody knows everybody, Interesting. Okay, that's really good. That's a really good question. It's a really good question. And I think...
You could take a minute to think about it if you want.
I kind of think that what it is, even though he might not be able to articulate it, but what I think is great is that in those days, jazz, well, my dad would be all about the band stuff and how there's nothing like a reed section, of cats who are playing like they just know it, In other words, they're off the paper. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're just playing. I mean, that's the reason if you get Sinatra live at the Sands with Count Basie, that was great. It's just fan. And I mean, that's on that record. So those guys were doing 100, 200 dates a year playing those charts. So they weren't reading or anything. They were playing as one, They were just swinging it, man. And so that's what my old man would like is to know that was swinging, man. When everybody was just in that pocket and swinging. But I maintain that the reason that was so much like that is because jazz mattered in those days. Jazz was rap music, or
That's
whatever,
right. Yep.
or country music. It was. Forget there wasn't. What's her name? Tiffany Taylor Swift.
Right, Taylor Swift.
It wasn't Taylor Swift. It was jazz, man. I mean, there was Bing Crosby, but there was also Sinatra, and there was also the Jimmy Rushing, and then Here Come Basie and all this stuff, So that's it. Really mattered. My dad went to we played the Hampton Beach Casino in New Hampshire, which is a beach. My old man, it's been there forever. My old man dated my mom there and saw Basie, and everybody played there. Glenn Miller played there. And what they had is, that's where they had the little picket fence in front of the bandstand so that if you wanted to get in there, that was for dancing only. And they had a marshal at the head of the place, a little podium out there. And what you did is you bought a dance card, and then for whatever it was, a quarter, and then you gave it to the guy, and he punched it. And he gave you 5 dances or something. And he punched it once, and you went in there, and you could dance, but you could also get closer to the band that way. That was the only way you could get close to the band, Everybody else had to be outside that little disc. I don't think there's any better than Stan Getz. Okay, there's nobody better than Stan Getz. And the other thing is he was a stylist. I mean, you only need to hear a note or two to know him right away. So he's got an absolute style, and he did everything that a great musician does. Not only is he accomplished, but and you're right, improvisation is his strong suit, and he's got a gorgeous tone, and his note choices are unbelievably clearly knows his way. He's a superb musician. I mean, there's nobody better. But it's crazy to say that somebody's the best at anything in an art. I mean, what are the top 5 paintings of all time?
My next question was, I mean, no, you're right. Compare, if you could take an artist from a different medium, a sculptor or a painter, who would you? I mean, because Stan was a tortured soul.
That's interesting.
Well, who would you?
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Well, and he had the Latin thing. And he had the Latin thing down so well,
The bossa nova, the bossa nova.
Yeah, so you got to think that way a little bit. I don't know. Who is it? Is it maybe it's a Picasso kind of thing. Maybe he's kind of like a Picasso. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's hard. That's a tough one. Those analogies are tough. But there's nobody better. There was nobody better, and he had such a sound, and he has so many classics. I'm just proud that he played on a record. And by the way, it's really good. It's really good what he plays, and it's really fun.
I just want to know. I want to know who you